Okay, we will put that. Kind of shows you everything. So this is the chair confirmation that we've been given. What do we have on it? We have a chlorine over here. We have a CH3 over here. That's a methyl group. What is important about chairs is that the positions, axial and equatorial themselves, have nothing to do with wedges and dashes. What actually correlates to the wedge and dash thing is the direction in which these things are pointing. So anything that is pointing downwards will always be a dash. Anything that's pointing upwards is going to be a wedge. Oops, that's an ugly ass wedge. But that's all you have to know. When it comes to this, we have this CH3, this methyl group that is pointing down. So that means this has to be on a dash. This chlorine is pointing upwards. That means that this is going to be on a wedge. Again, axial and equatorial have nothing to do with wedge and dash. So the next thing that we do from here is I like to convert this into like an actual cyclohexane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So next, we now need to like number this, and we need to number it consistently. When I number, I always go clockwise. You could go counterclockwise, but you just have to make sure when you're doing the chair flip and also when you're numbering on your actual cyclohexane that you are following that same pattern, always. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now on here, I need to make sure I count the same thing. I'm gonna start and make this my number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we have a wedge on one, and on that wedge is chlorine. So now I'm going to draw my wedge with chlorine. This is still position 1. Okay, now on 3, I have pointing downwards, I have a methyl group. Methyl is pointing down, that means it's a dash. So on number 3, I'm gonna draw my dashes. This indicates, this is the same thing as what's up here, right? And now from here, we can very easily do the RNS configurations. So what we need to remember is, if this is in the plane, this is coming out of this, the chlorine is coming out of this, that means going behind this board is the hydrogen, right? So now we have to assign our priorities. How we do that is we want the lowest priority to be on the dash. We want it to be behind. So already we have, over here, we already have this hydrogen in the back. So I can automatically, I don't use a different color. I can automatically number, why did I use all colors? We can number this number 4, okay? Now, the other thing, we have this chlorine. Chlorine is automatically the biggest group here. So we're gonna number that number 1. I'm gonna circle it just so that it's easier to see, right? Now we have these two carbons that we need to number. So they're both carbons. How do we check which one gets the higher priority between the two? Check to see what it's connected to. This carbon is connected to a carbon over here, and it's connected to 2 hydrogens that are invisible. This one, number 6, is connected to this carbon over here, and then 2 invisible hydrogens. Okay, they're the same. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move down one more. So now we're on this carbon, and we're on this carbon. Carbon number 3 is connected to this carbon over here. That's a carbon, and then it's connected to this carbon over here. That's another carbon, and then coming out from over here, from this spot on carbon number 3, is actually there is a hydrogen that's invisible. Now this one, this number 5, is connected to carbon, hydrogen, hydrogen. Automatically this one has one more carbon, so this one over here, because we were counting on this side, gets the higher priority between 2, and 6. So now, when I number, I'm going to number this one as priority number 2, and I'm going to number 6 as priority number 3. Now, we already, number 4 is on the dash. That means it's already in the place that we want it to be. That doesn't necessarily mean that in every problem that you're gonna have a hydrogen. Sometimes it can be something else. As long as the lowest priority is on the dash, everything else is fine. So what we have here is now you have to like do the connect from 1, 2, and 3. So how this is turning is we have 1, 2, 3. So this is going this way. So because we're turning like this is an R configuration for this center over here. Now, down here, I'm gonna erase all this, right, just to make it a little bit more clear. Those I can leave. So down here, what we have going on, I'm just gonna number this. I don't think you need numbers. Between among all this group, this group, this group, and this group, these 4 groups, our hydrogen is our lowest priority. Even though it's currently on a wedge, we still number it number 4, right? Now, what I have over here is now I have to look at the connectivity between, now I have to assign priority to this carbon over here, this carbon over here, and this carbon over here. So looking at this one, what I see that this one is connected to is I can see that there's a carbon, this is connected to a carbon, and it's connected to a hydrogen and a hydrogen. When I look at this carbon over here, I see that it's connected to a hydrogen, hydrogen, and a hydrogen, right? So between these two, this one's gonna automatically have the lowest priority. Now, when we look at this one over here, this one has the same connectivity as this one. We have a carbon, hydrogen, and a hydrogen. So this is all hydrogens. This is automatically, it's not the lowest, but it's second lowest. So we're gonna number this number 3. Right? Now we need to determine between these two. We're gonna do what we did over here. So again, move up another one. We have this carbon connected to, okay, let's do number 5 first. We have this one connected to, once again, a carbon, hydrogen, and a hydrogen. And this one over here is actually connected to a chlorine, hydrogen, and another carbon. So, well, I guess you could write it this way. It's connected to, just so it's easier to compare. This shouldn't be flipped. But anyways, this one has a chlorine over here that it's bonded to, which automatically makes this one over here, this is the one that we're actually comparing. This one gets the highest priority amongst all of them, right? And because this one's already 3, we can just number that as 2, because that's what we figured out. So now I'm going to just number that 1, and this is 2. The problem with what we have going on over here, let me just erase all this, is we have this hydrogen on a wedge. If it's on a wedge, we have to do some manipulation here because we want this hydrogen to be on this dash. So, easiest way to do this, don't even try to flip it in your head. It is too much effort and takes too much time. And if that works for you, go for it. I just find it to be overly time consuming and I don't want to do it. So what I do is on the side, what I'll do is I'll just write them exactly in the same order that they are. Right? So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. So if you want, what I used to do in the beginning is I would draw it like this. Right? This is what we have. This is exactly what we see here. I'm just not putting any of that there, just for ease. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 4 and switch it with whatever's on where it should be. Where should it be? Dash. So these two over here are gonna get switched. So now what we have this, right? But you can't just flip one of them. You now need to also flip the positions of those two. So what's gonna happen, you're gonna get 1, 2, you're gonna get the 4 over here, which is exactly where we want it, and you're gonna get a 3. So now, this is all in the right configuration, right? I'm just substituting this for this. So now, when I try to draw the RNS configuration, I'm going to connect 1 to the 2, I go to the 3, and I'm turning this way again. So if you're turning to the right, that gives you an R configuration, which means this center here is also R. Both of these, so that just means that this center over here is an R, and this one over here is also an R. Now you have to draw the enantiomer of it. Literally, that just means you're just drawing the chair flip, right? So we just draw it this way. It's a really ugly chair, I'm sorry. Oh. Okay. So now what I've done, what I always do is I see like what is like the point, like what is actually like pointing down, and I'll just like flip that. So now that I have one up here, so like this over here is like flipping upward that way, right? And this is flipping down this way. So basically what I get is 1. And now what I did here is I went clockwise. I went this way. So same thing. When I number this, I still have to go this way. So now I'm just gonna keep this one here. Just do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you draw the enantiomer of something, what's happening is you are drawing the mirror image of it. And how we learned to draw, like the easiest way to draw the mirror image of this, I know that there's a lot going on, but if you can follow along, that's great, is to just flip what's on a wedge and what's on a dash, right? And that's your mental. So this is still 1, 2, 3. But what's changed now is what's on a dash and what's on a wedge. Again, same connectivity. But if this is on a dash, that means that it is now pointing down on a chair. So on a chair, these two point upwards, right? Our axial positions on these two will point upwards, and the equatorial will point downwards. So the equatorial position on this is this, right? This is sorry, I said equatorial. The downward pointing, position on this number 1 is the equatorial position. That's what that means. Now on number 3, we have this now on a wedge. Wedge means that it's pointing upward. So now we're gonna go to number 3. This is, so on here, the positions on here, there's one that points upward and then one that points downwards. We want to choose the one that points upwards. The one that points upwards on here is just the axial position. So now what happens is your RNS configurations flip for each. So this is now going to become an S, and this is now going to also be S. And that is the easiest way to do this, which seems really time consuming, but it's actually not. I hope that helps. If I did anything wrong, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel.